Skinner. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner, MBE, on Absolute Radio with the commoner, Emily Dean, and the colonial, Pierre Novelli.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe I'm a commoner.
No. I know, it is shocking. If someone came in here and said, spot the commoner,
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be the first choice, but you know.
You are, I have to say, Frank, worryingly good at keeping secrets, I'm discovering.
Ah, yes.
Because, I mean, I would have had it everywhere, wouldn't you, Pierre? It would have been on the correspondence cards already. The credit card would have been changed.
The quote that people have used mainly, I've noticed, in when they talk about veteran comic Frank Skinner getting an MBE, is that I said I didn't tell anyone because I was concerned it might be an administrative error. But it wasn't a joke. I actually did think, what could be worse, as Oliver Hardy would say, than to tell everyone you've got an MBE, and then it was like the man who did Skinner's dog food, you know, that thing for working dogs. and on the day, like my heart has always bled for the woman from Rod Stewart's Hot Legs video, whose only her legs appear. Imagine she said to her mum and dad, I'm going to be in the Rod Stewart video, really excited. Family gather round MTV that night, and then it's just her legs. So I didn't want to be that girl.
No, you didn't want to be. I know someone who was airbrushed off a magazine cover once.
Exactly.
That's not.
There's many slip twixt cop and lip. That's the way I saw it. So eventually I thought I'd better tell my partner. I'll tell her the day before. I was anxious about telling Kath because...
Why?
Well, as you know, she's the woman who, when I said I was playing at the Albert Hall in front of the Queen and said, do you want to come? And she said, who else is on? So she keeps my feet on the ground, I think. Some might say my face. She keeps my face on the ground. No, so I told Kath, I said, look, I've got an award. And she said, oh, what is it? I said, it's an MBE. And she said, well, what do you think about that? I thought, I said, I'm pleased about it. And she went, oh, okay. How was that? That was that conversation out the way.
Seriously responded?
She honestly did, yeah.
I love her.
That's like a teacher. So how do you think that exam went?
Exactly. But what was I supposed to say?
I tell you what it is as well, Pierre. It's when people come to the show and say afterwards, how did you think it went?
Oh, no. Famously, of course, the go back after the show and say, well, you've done it again is the famous one, which is...
She's saving that up for when you get the OBE.
Yeah, exactly. So it was... other than that, I got lots of very, very nice texts from people in this room. On the day, I was once incarcerated in a house for 3 days. And if you remember, there was a programme called The Bobble.
Oh, yeah, you did it with Vicky Corrin, didn't you?
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it twice. The first time with Vicky Corrin. No, the one that went out was with I never call her Vicky. Actually, it was Victoria Corrin Mitchell and Reg D
Hunter.
Oh, yeah, and. The idea is you're locked away in a house for like 3 days with no phone, no telephone, no radio. And when you come out, they ask you news stories, whether they're real or not real. And when we got our phones back, the researcher handed my phone back, reeling. She was reeling. And she said, I just wanted to say you've been away for 4 days and you've had 4 texts and 3 emails in that time. And of course I said, well, I've told people I wouldn't be about, but I thought, no, that's my average. That's nicely averaged out. But on the day it was announced, I got like 70 texts and emails. And I thought, how do popular people get anything done?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know when they say that success makes people unpopular, I think being unpopular might make people successful because they got more time on their hands. It's honestly, I answered them all, you know. But gosh,
Did you? Oh, that's adorable.
full-time job. People I hadn't heard of from like 25 years. Still not paying them back.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Good morning to you.
Morgan,
Morning.
special morning, special day.
Yes. In case you didn't catch this earlier, it is my birthday today. I've already opened gifts,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
Yeah.
I included some headed notepaper I've been bought, which says at the top, "From the desk of Frank Skinner, MBE." Which, I mean, who do I send? I think that'd be good maybe for querying a parking ticket.
Do you
Yes.
know what?
Just wonder if that would still have some sway.
A vague threat.
Yeah.
You'll regret this.
It's a very
sort of
nice way of saying, do you know who I am?
I'm calling it passive-aggressive stationery, and I'm here for it.
I'm 66 today. I think the more things I get with my name on, the more helpful, just as an aide de memoire. It's not far from when I'm saying, do you know who I am? It'll be a genuine, heartfelt inquiry.
The slip from rhetoric to need.
Oh, what a thought. What a thought. Bold! Have you seen the advert where they've changed the words of gold?
They haven't.
You know, so it says like gold, not bold rather. You know, bold, the washing up. Bold, and it's got built-in Lenore. It's stuff like that. That might not be the actual words, but you know, it's
they
got Lenore.
haven't.
You know the thing with bold, and I'm not advertising it because I don't know where our washing machine is.
No.
But
That shows you in a lovely light.
yes, but bold has a big thing on the front of it that says something like includes Lenore, and Lenore gets its own like low. I think, what? This is going to draw me in to buying bold. Oh, hold on, look, contains Lenore. That's a bonus.
I'm so sick of mixing my own bold and Lenore
Yeah, exactly.
in a big bath in the garden.
Exactly. What a great-
Ready-made bold Lenore cocktails.
Yeah.
Who knew?
In a tin.
I mean, I don't want to get something that hasn't got Lenore.
Lenore? Yeah, what? Lenore?
Bold! Plenty of Lenore. Anyway.
Lenore's quite a whimsical name for a
What is
detergent.
it? What is Lenore?
Fabric softener, isn't
And
it?
if you took, if they
Think
had,
about Lenore.
if there was a contractual disagreement, what would be missing from bold that Lenore brought to it?
It's a softener, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
The beauty of Lenore is its mystery.
Yes, you're probably right.
You don't want to start unravelling Lenore's mystery, trust me.
Okay, I'll leave it there.
I
You're
went down
probably
that
right.
road once.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I hate when adverts cut song. You know they have to cut songs, but you get
Yeah.
really unsettling cuts.
But they don't resolve the...
So there's like a holiday one at the moment, and they use "Tomorrow" from Annie, which is one of my favourite musicals ever.
Oh, do they
And
do a
it sort of
mashup?
goes, "The sun'll come out tomorrow." And you think, no, it doesn't happen there.
that's horrible.
There's no build.
That's not nice.
You've taken the grey and lonely out and cut straight to the sunshine.
They might have left Grey and Lonely, but they get way too early to the heartfelt tomorrow.
Yeah, when an advert has to be aggressively trimmed down for a small slot.
Guys, one of the worst ones was everybody, yeah, chicken satay. No, I'm not having that. The
Ah, yeah.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, you've actually sold it accidentally quite well.
Does it come with Lenore?
That's one of the great years in the song.
What?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I love ya. And say I love you. Fabulous. Yes, that's the trouble. The
There's-
orphanage has damaged her vocabulary forever. Oh, man.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I went on a walking holiday last week.
Oh.
Me and Kath, we love a walking holiday, my partner. So what we did is we just got the train to Reading and then walked back to London from there. And not in a day, 3 days. And what you do, there's a system by which you go off on your walk that morning with your little backpack, packed lunch, a bottle of water, map even.
Oh.
And then someone comes, a driver man, and or lady, and takes your bag to your next destination.
So you still have your luggage.
Yeah, so you don't have to carry all the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a cheat, but it's a nice way. It's based on the old sort of native bearer theory of, the sort of upside down lion on a stick.
Yeah.
It's that kind of it's that kind of process, but it makes it an easier thing. But we're doing 20 miles a day, I'm an older man, Commander. So any road up, we were staying at the De Vere in Old Windsor.
Okay.
We don't normally do a hotel. We favour a B&B. But anyway, we ended up at the De Vere, big hotel. And I went down for breakfast and this woman said, "Oh my God, Alan Carr." And I said, "No." I said, "I'm not. I'm honestly not." She said, "You are." I said, "I'm honestly." She said, "Well," she said, "you sound exactly like him." Now, I will allow a bit of wiggle room in a lookalike, but I do not sound exactly like Alan Carr. No. I mean, I had gone down and said, "Whoa, can I have breakfast, please?" No, I hadn't done that. But she was very insistent, this woman.
Really?
And Kath...
I hope Alan's listened to your impression of it.
I think he'll be all right, isn't he?
I hope he is. We love him.
So, this probably happens to him all the time, and people think he's... No, I doubt it. So, she was very convinced, and I said to Katza we should tell her. And I said, no, let her believe I'm Alan Carr, because in 2023, Alan Carr is a much more exciting encounter than I am. And she said, "Well, I'm going to tell her." So she said to the woman, "He's not Alan Carr." And the woman, you could see, was thinking, "I know he is, for sure."
Yeah, you're trying to hide your fame.
And she said, "He's Frank Skinner." And I saw the woman. Speaking of extraneous noises, the woman went, "Oh." I could feel the ladle going a little deeper into a memory goulash.
The pause, Frank. The pause is cruel.
But I think she might have found me down there at the bottom of the cauldron.
They always do.
Yeah. And she went, "Oh, yeah, can I have a photo?" And...
It's too late for that.
I said, "Whoa, no!" No, I didn't. I said,
Stop it.
I said, "Okay, but I've just got to go and do something in the room, and then on the way out, we'll come and see you for a photo." And she said, "Oh, you won't come back." I said, "Oh, well, honestly, I will come back." So I'll tell you after this what happened when we went back.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
So I went, if you remember, I'm at the De Vere in Old Windsor.
Sound like an old colonel. I'll be that character from The Archers. I'll be staying at the De Vere.
It's the biggest hotel I've ever been in. The dining room. I thought they'd done that thing that they do in places sometimes of having
The De Vere is a chain, we should say, I believe.
Well, this place, I thought they had a mirrored wall to make it look massive.
Yeah.
The dining room. But no, it was massive.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Go on.
So, not that we got into the dining room because we had the dog with us, so we had to eat just outside the dining room. No dogs are allowed.
Where were you sat? What, did you have to sit
It's like
down?
a bar nearby, so we had breakfast in there.
Oh, in the doghouse.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I went back to do the photo because, man of the people.
Yeah.
So when I went back, I met this guy. He came over and said hello, and I thought, God, I know you. And he used to go to my church.
Oh, right.
He's called Brendan, and he was there with the Catholic Voices Convention.
Right.
Yeah, Voices. Let's get that spelling right.
Yes.
Not vices. And so there was a few hundred Catholics packed into the place. It used to be a Catholic boarding school, this hotel. I don't know if that's what drew them in.
Well, I
They
know
could
that's what
sense
drew
it.
you in.
Yeah. Well, they said, go and have a look at the chapel. And I went and had a look at the chapel, and it's like tables and chairs in there and stuff. It's like for weddings. Anyway, so I went to do my photo and I had a chat with Brendan, and then I went over to the lady, and she said, oh, hello again. She said, thanks for coming back. She said, oh, I heard about your dog. I said, what about my dog? She said, it pooed in the corridor. I said, it absolutely didn't. I said, we've been with it all. She said, oh, no, everyone's saying it did. I said, everyone? And then Brendan said, yeah, some of the Catholic Voices, people were saying your dog had pooed. I said, what? Gone through Catholic Voices?
First Alan Carr, now this.
Exactly. How many voices am I expected to speak in? So I said, my dog has not. I've been with her all the time. It didn't happen. And this woman was saying, oh yeah, it did. Your dog did. So we went to reception, and I said, look.
I don't like where this is going, Pierre.
I said to the man,
Now, look here.
I said, look, there's a story going around the hotel.
You should have stayed Alan Carr.
Yes. I said to Kath,
You should have
I said,
said-
if you'd have kept your mouth shut, it would have been Alan Carr's dog.
Yeah. The story
been
would only have
fine.
unravelled when the woman said, yes, Alan Carr was here with his wife.
Yeah, that would have been a shocker. I think that would have overdone the pooing element. He was here with his what? And the dog pooed it. Never mind that. What was he here with?
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
People have been in touch.
Good.
Firstly, just a quick quizzy for you from Donna Tibby.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to be called Francis, Frankie, or Frank?
No, I think Frank is. I think the only person who's called me Frankie was a man who worked in the Versace shop in Milan.
Really?
He was
Frankie.
I'm going to need a little more than that.
Yeah.
Well, I went in there I was filming for a sort of holiday show. And I went in there to try on some leather dungarees. And
Has this been generated by AI, this anecdote?
yeah.
Has this been generated by Zoolander, this anecdote?
Yeah.
What the hell is
So,
going on?
because I must have told you this story before. We left. He was very sort of nice man. Oh, Frankie, welcome to my show. Oh, Frankie, you look fantastic. He was like this. And then I went out into the street, and suddenly there was gunfire. I must have told you this story.
No.
There was gunfire, and guys drove past in a car, literally hanging out the window, firing guns.
God.
And it hit the masonry above us, and stuff fell down. So this policeman started waving his arms and shouting, but obviously I didn't know what he was saying, but everyone started running. And I used to, I don't know if I can still tell this story. One thing that stuck in my mind at the time was we ran, and there was this woman running ahead of me, attractive woman, like short skirt and all that. And I remember thinking, she's all right. And that was in the very face of death. The very jaws of death.
Depressing final thought.
Yeah. So anyway, we all went into like a side alley, and then the police all went round, so we could hear gunfire in the distance, and suddenly a voice from a window went, Frankie, are you okay? From the massage.
Sprinting away in your leather dungarees.
Oh, man. No, I hadn't got those on then. I'd left them in the shop.
I can't.
Cross between The Godfather and a Carry On film.
Well,
Yeah, well, there's more. I mean, what happened, that was basically the bit that involved me, but the camera crew filmed the police arresting these guys.
Oh, they got them.
Yeah. And one thing they did is they had one guy in the gutter and they had their boot on his throat. And they filmed that, and then they took the film to a news station in Milan. And when we got back to the hotel, there was about 10 police there. And is the word compounded when they take... what's the
impounded? Yeah.
Impounded. They impounded...
can I just check something? Were you still wearing the leather dungarees?
No, I never bought them. The idea was I just tried them on.
Can I say I kind of wish you had?
Yeah.
They were really loose as well, like I could fish in them.
Yeah, oh yes. Waders.
So the police came and took the whole day's shoot away, and they had to go and see a judge at like 2 a.m, and he had to decide what we could keep and what
How
we
much?
couldn't. So they took all that, the shooting stuff. Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I don't know how that story came out, but it was...
It literally came from, do you prefer to be called Frank or Frankie? And now suddenly we find ourselves in a shootout wearing leather dungarees. Frank Skinner, everyone.
Who'd have thought great oak trees from little acorns grow? That's what the guy in the shop told me. I said they're quite baggy in this room.
God's sake.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So look, I went to Buckingham Palace on Thursday for my investiture, and it was all right. So what should we talk about now? So it was the Princess Royal was presenting.
And?
And the Princess Royal, as opposed to... Did they put royal on the end so they know we're not just calling her a bit of a princess? I mean, there's a king royal, if you think about it.
There's certainly a king royal.
Yeah.
There are dukes and there are royal dukes, and those are different.
I know, but a princess...
Surely.
You don't need to bring up the royal. It's a given.
Now,
Anyway.
I don't want to go on a limb here, but did she perchance have her hair back from her face because she favours that style?
Yes.
I love that style.
Yes, she did have that.
Love her.
Well, let me tell you, you get briefed.
Yeah.
You're in a room with people who have got it for all sorts of services too. Services too is the phrase of the day.
Yes.
Like someone had got a medal for services to swans and other water birds.
Really?
I wasn't even familiar with the term water bird. I didn't know that was... I mainly focus on the air birds, the main category. So you get your briefing. There's a man in a uniform who is referred to as the controller. Okay.
That's nice.
And like Thomas the Tank Engine, but slimmer. And he stands in a room and he says, right, now, when you go in, because this is in a separate... When you go into that room, the Princess Royal will be standing on a mat very similar to this one. And then he gestures towards a red mat with a rectangular red mat with a golden edge all the way around it. And he said, she does not step off that mat and you must not step on it. And I thought, all right. So I was a bit edgy about... and he said, can you approach her? He said, you'll be stopped by... And then it was like the Viscount, Cardinal,
Yeah.
Archbishop, Minister of the Interior will be standing there in his uniform. He'll stop you. And then when you're free, you go... He said, you approach the Princess Royal. And he said, approach her in a slow and natural walk. In other words, there are armed men in that room.
Can I recommend against sprinting wildly
Yes, I think
towards her sacred mat?
he looked at me and he thought, he's a bolter. That guy's a bolter. But I might have
Hands up, full Usain Bolt.
yeah.
Can you imagine with the frock coat, the tails flapping
Full
behind you?
spear tackle.
I'm so excited. I just race away. I've been shot.
Your
So,
Majesty, I brought you my favourite knife from home for you to...
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we autographed my lump hammer. And he
So,
says
what was it again? Slow and...
it's in a slow and natural manner.
I'd say
Do you know
there's-
what I love? I love natural.
Yeah.
I'd say there's
So
a
don't
country...
walk up, don't do jazz hands.
Yeah. Don't walk slowly.
Hey,
Come on
Princess
down.
Royal, Princess Royal. No, don't do that.
Frank,
Yeah.
I'd like it if you did a sort of
Don't
Bob
put Roy-
Fosse Chicago walk.
What if it said, don't put Royal in inverted air commas? She hates that.
We will shoot off your fingers if you do that.
Oh, man. So, and he said, the mat will be like this one, so we'd recognise the mat. I just thought, it'll be the mat with her on it.
We have scattered several decoy mats for security reasons.
So it was like I tell you what, it's like a manager's technical area. She has to stay in the mat and we don't stray into it.
Hope she doesn't come out like Arteta all the time.
No, but who knew there was a exclusive royal mat?
Is the mat like a sort of bath mat size?
It's about so long and about
I
so
can't
wide.
see
It's
that.
a rectangle. Oh, sorry. I forgot it was on radio. It's a rectangle. I'd say 3 foot by 4 foot, maybe.
What would have happened if you'd have crossed the mat, do you think?
Oh, it doesn't make me think. Well, to be fair, she stands right at the edge of the mat with her toe virtually on the goal. I mean, I looked over my shoulder for a dartboard. There's an element of hockey about the golden braid.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
So you've looked up.
I've looked up.
You're on
no,
the
you
mat.
have to. Looking down is the key. That's the other thing you're told. Is that before you approached in a natural, slow, non-controversial manner, you walk towards the royal mat, and then you stop in front of the mat about a metre. And then you bow. But he says bow from the neck, not from the waist.
Oh.
He said. And I thought, I think the danger is a man my age could bow from the waist, topple, and I'd be mown down before I reaches gravity would finish me off.
Yes,
But yeah.
And
Did
you'd hit the mat with your head.
Oh, God. What? Touch the mat?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Even as a body.
Oh, no.
Never
acceptable.
touch the mat.
I'm imagining it's some sort of hovering, like Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian.
When you all leave the room.
Well, how does she get in the room if she can't leave the mat? Is she dragged in on the mat?
Like a magic carpet.
Does she mat surf? So she's like this, a bit slower, bit more at the left, and they sort of pull her in.
Well, they have to pick up all the sort of stepping stone mats that got her to that mat.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll quickly lift them up or she'll just go back.
I bet they just bought one of those carpet squares books.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I finally... Because you're passing as well. You know, when you go... I don't know if you've
What
ever
was it
been...
like inside, Frank?
2 gold.
I've never heard of anything too good. Really?
No, it was 2 gold. It's the goldest place I've ever been in my life, Buckingham Palace.
Is it?
Everything.
Is it oligarch gold?
The ceilings, the walls. I mean, it's dripping with gold.
Is it quite dictator chic?
It's quite nouveau riche, considering it's absolutely as old riche as you. The guy asked a guy about it. He said, well, we haven't, the last furniture. He said that the newest furniture in here is 1830.
Oh, my God.
You know when you get to like a posh house and there's a suit of armour in the corner? Well, there was those.
Yes,
but there
I've
was,
seen American rom-coms.
Yeah. Well, there was that, but there was people in them. So there was guys in proper like silver helmets and breastplates just standing intermittently, like you get intermittent chairs in a hotel corridor.
Household cavalry, yeah.
People in the army.
There was people in there.
Please tell me you checked your hair in the breastplates of one of the...
No, the men. I mean, the men. They all have that stare straight ahead. You can't join into conversation.
They don't walk slow and natural, do they? They
don't move.
Oh, they clank.
But they got swords, these guys.
Shut up.
Some have got guns, some have got swords.
Just to keep you guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just in case you don't walk natural enough. Be careful.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So, yes, the hook. When you arrive at the palace, as soon as you walk into the room, there is a table with a nice lady who's got all these little hooks. Are you familiar with the concept of the picture rail? Used to have them in council houses and stuff, and they'd be about 18 inches from the top of the ceiling. And there was these hooks that you put on them, and then so you could hang your pictures on that hook. So it was a separate little thing. So they put one of those on your lapel, and that's your medal hook. Oh. Because Princess Royal hasn't got time to pin them all on, and, there could be blood on the mat.
So hang on, you're wandering around with a hook sticking
So
out.
everyone who's winning, by then you realise who's friends and who's winners. Because the winners have got their hooks.
The hook of triumph.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? I would have stolen a hook so people thought I was a winner.
Oh, well.
I would have had to. I'm sorry.
Well, if ever you go with anyone, take your own hook.
Yes.
So look, I finally got to. I did my bow from the neck. And
Is your name called? Does it say Mr. Frank Skinner?
no, it says for services to entertainment, Mr. Christopher Collins, known as Frank Skinner.
Known as.
Oh,
the
you got-
artist formerly known as.
You got introduced like an old lag
Yeah, so I turned.
in a lineup.
Exactly.
AKA.
Exactly. Alias the Bone Crusher. So she said to me, what's with the two names?
Did she? Was that her opener?
Yeah, that was our opener.
Do you know, I've always loved that woman.
And I did think, well, you used to be Princess Anne. And now you're Princess Royal. Did I ask about the two names?
What
No.
did you say?
Oh, I explained that when you join the Actors Union, you can't have two people with the same. And she said, oh, there was already another one, was there? I said, yeah, he was a pop singer in Burnley.
What, you were saying this while you got your medal? Talking about a pub singer in Burnley.
And I said they interviewed him. And he said in the Daily Mirror, what do you think about having the same name as Frank Skinner? And he said, I wish I'd got his money. She laughed, obviously something she'd heard said many times. And she asked where I got the name from, and I said it was in my dad's pub domino team. And then she asked about that because she's sport mad.
You did well to bring the sport.
Well, I made one thing I wasn't sure. It was because she said, did you always want to be an entertainer? I said, well, I did want to be a cowboy early on. I said, but unlike yourself, I was never good on a horse.
What did she say?
There was a slight element in her face of too personal.
Yes,
Keep me out of this.
Yes, you're never supposed to rope them into your world.
I realised I'd made a
Or
mistake.
lasso them in.
Lean onto the mat. Who does your hair? You know,
No.
You love your shoes.
I didn't say, do you live in High Barnet?
Frank,
But anyway...
come on.
So anyway, she was great. Look, I really like her. She's pretty cool.
Pierre's lost it over the High Barnet.
But what happened then was she said, well, thank you. And she shakes my hand and I says, thank you. And she says, congratulations. And then I nod and I go to walk away. And she picks up a medal. And I thought, oh, God, I haven't had my medal. So I went back.
You didn't.
And she said, no, you only get one. And I'd noticed she'd already hooked me. And I thought, oh, God, you get medal at
quick
the
like
end.
a ninja.
So I'd gone back. What I'd done is I'd approached the mat from the wrong angle.
Oh, no.
I was dicing with death there for a minute.
I've seen the photo. I think there's gurkhas in the background.
There are gurkhas.
You were lucky enough to
There's
get
a
a
There are
kukri
gurkhas.
through the neck.
Oh, God, if he'd have run at me, I'd have shouted, I've met Joanna Lumley! I've met Joanna Lumley! but it was too late.
There's a Gurkha absolutely staring down your manager.
Anyway, she was
John,
very
in
good
that
about
photo.
it. I mean, you only get one was a pretty good comeback from her.
Yeah.
And I said, sorry, I've never done this before, which was fair enough. But, yeah. So, look.
He's brought it in. He's
I
getting
brought it in, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, he's only
Look
got
at
it
it.
out.
Hold it, these are the washing instructions. I'll let you have a look at it in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know the way you brought that out was so, I'm going to call it slow and natural.
What I like about it, on the case, it says MBE.
Yes.
So you don't want to turn up at something wrong, you've brought your sunglasses.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Here is a thing. I like to try unusual drinks and foods, especially if they're sold as health giving.
Yes.
I buy into the old Fall song title, "Eat Yourself Fitter," and I tried black lemonade.
Oh.
Giving it a go. I look to you, Em.
Of course not.
No, okay.
What is it?
Black lemonade is
Good band name.
it contains charcoal.
Oh.
And that is all you know and all you need to know. And it's disgusting.
Is it?
I can't tell you, it's the worst commercially sold drink I have ever tasted.
It sounds very much like something you'd buy from a Canterbury Tales character.
Well,
Or one of your
Well, I don't know if
humours.
did they have lemonade?
Very probably.
It reminded me of, I remember discovering that the Texas Rangers, back in the days of the Wild West, would drink out of a hoof print when times were hard. You know, the big rain would have gathered in a hoof print and they'd drink. And I bet you that tasted better than black lemonade.
Is it the dread activated charcoal? Because you'll find that a lot in allegedly health-giving
Yes.
compounds.
Yeah, I didn't notice if it was activated. It sounded like something was at work.
Is that the stuff when you get the charcoal toothpaste?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, do you ever use
I've
that?
had black toothpaste, yeah, but
Oh, it was
toothpaste.
the toothpaste. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't mind because toothpaste is, it's in and it's out.
You don't mind, but when you see someone coming into the room saying, I was just wondering, oh, it's quite a sight.
Well, I've heard people say that. I remember I went through a period in my early days when I first started cleaning my teeth.
When was that?
Well, you know when my brother brought home a toothbrush when he was about 16, and my dad said, "We've lost him." My dad honestly said, "I don't know who he thinks he is."
That was like Metal Bird in Sky.
Oh man, like educated Rita. But yeah, there was much suspicion.
Lost it.
Brought home a toothbrush like an unsuitable bride.
Yeah, get that out of him. He didn't actually stop him from using it. When I first
That was
started
very
using
generous of him.
When I first started using it, we didn't have toothpaste in the house. My
you
brother
do
kept
surprise
it away.
me.
I used to just put salt on it
Yeah.
and brush with that, but it can. The gums don't like it.
Is it?
Yeah, the gums start to become inflamed.
Oh. You would have
You
thought
should
salt would be
see
quite good.
the expression on Pierre's face when she's trying to sort of disguise. But it's like salt on a toothbrush.
I've heard of that, but I'm more surprised that it wasn't good. I thought that was the thing, salt on a toothbrush.
Well, I
For people who are allergic to fluoride.
remember my dad would be a man who'd walk into the kitchen, take the top off the butter dish, take out a scoop and just put it on straight on his hair before going out. So it was different times, is my point.
Yeah.
What I was getting at is that some people I'd heard used soot. And they would
I
put
think we know
soot.
which family they were in.
That wasn't us. But that makes me think that the charcoal thing was around then, but in its more primitive form. That was almost everything.
You could call it artisanally produced charcoal toothpaste.
Anyway, if you see black lemonade in a shop, don't.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, though, it's never worn off for me, because that's how I've been in Amsterdam this week. Something that, from when I first went abroad, probably whatever it was, 30 years ago, I still love watching television made by places like the Netherlands.
Yes.
There was a music show that was on in the evening, and there would be shows where an act would come on. Everybody is like old. All the singers are much older. Ageism doesn't seem to be such a thing. Seems to be reverse.
I might look into it.
So what you get, there's groups like 10 blokes all in their 50s. And the songs are like these sing-along, "Wir waren hier, sie fahren wieder her, wir waren here," and they're all drinking beer and stuff. "Wir waren sie," and you think, I can't believe this exists. Who would be interested in this? And then it pans to the audience. There's like 20,000 people in the studio. There's like endless people singing along. There was a great bit, because you get those sort of... There's one video of blokes like that, and it's just close-ups of blokes drinking beer and it like dripping off their chin. We had a drink twice, and they're just throwing it down them. It's disgusting. And then you get a bloke who'll come out, a bloke about 50-odd, and go... I love the world, and sing it in English, and you'll get women crying in the audience. They cut to one fabulous moment in the audience. It was like a rock and roll band, of course, and there was people dancing. There was one bloke sitting, you could see in the audience, who literally had his hands over his ears.
It sounds like sort of Saturday night TV in 1974.
Yes, and then you cut to a chat show where it's like they're discussing... I don't know what they're discussing, I don't speak Dutch. But there'll be a bloke who's got like a fur jacket and orange glasses and long hair, bloke about 70, who's been taken completely seriously in some conversation. I think, well, who is this bloke? Who everyone is listening to as if he isn't... mad. It's brilliant.
It's the thing with other countries' celebrities, because there's always so much context to explain.
Yeah.
Where you sort of say, you said to a Dutch person, "So who's this?" And they go, "Oh, well, he's Peter Polder. Peter Polder. Oh, everyone loves him." And they sort of explain that he hosted a show about rescuing animals. And then also he...
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the names become, like when I went to France, they were saying, "You don't know Clo-Clo?"
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Clo-Clo.
I had this conversation about Wil Glahe, the accordionist, when I was in Germany once. Wil Glahe is not big in England. Oh man,
Just like when I moved here and had to learn about Noel Edmonds.
Yeah, well, I can. Yeah, obviously that's tough.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So yeah, I went to lockdown. Went to download. It was okay. Guess for you two. Apart from obviously the showers and the toilets, which are traditional enormous queues, what would you say were the two biggest queues daily at?
Okay.
At
Baked potato stand.
I was pulled pork.
I'll tell you something. I've never seen so much pulled. What is it?
I knew it, Frank.
When did the pulled pork revolution begin?
Why not? Why do they call it? Why is it pulled? Why make it all part of a branding thing?
Well, I don't know what it is, but when did people start?
Well, no, he's the meat correspondent.
When did it appear, pulled pork?
Yeah,
I think about 10 years ago. We've had about a decade of from hipster meat to dominating the meat landscape. Pulled pork.
I think you'll find Kermit the Frog pulled pork in the 1980s.
Are you actually serious.
That's all right. Pulled as in got a girlfriend
I
who was
know.
made of pork.
I know what it means. Yeah, you're making it worse. A girlfriend made of
People
pork.
never talk about pigs being made of pork, do they?
Or girlfriends, Frank.
Or girlfriends.
It's their main quality.
So, what is the nature
Sorry,
of the
you just said
pulling?
Kermit the Frog has got a girlfriend made of
pork.
Made of pork, yeah.
It's a very
Can we all just
sinister.
sit with that for a moment?
Miss Piggy wouldn't be happy to hear that.
So, the pulling of pork.
So there was that. It wasn't a food cue.
Okay, but I think
Okay.
that was a reasonable suggestion.
It was.
Thank
It
you.
was. And pulled pork, well, obviously, was a big theme there. I didn't realise how much pulled pork had taken off. Well, did you explain how it is pulled?
They sort of pull it off the bone. They slow cook it so it's very tender, and they sort of shred it with. You could do it yourself if you use 2 forks.
Oh, using 2 forks.
2 forks.
I'm busy, bloke.
Okay.
I'll get Edward scissor hands. What about Edward fork hands? He comes around and does it for you.
He's your pork puller.
The trouble is with Edward fork hands, he only really eats corn on the cob. That's his specialist.
I've got a question. Maybe
Go
some
on.
of our readers know. Is there a pork pulling job? Is there one man
pork puller?
or lady who does
must be.
that
There
as a
must be.
job?
I've seen the meat shredder in action.
The shredder.
A man in the back of the van with 2 forks going for it.
You see, that's gone a bit late night horror movie, The Shredder.
Yeah, that sounds a bit
Yeah.
like, was it Billy the Kid in Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
Back of the van.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. I know it was some Wild West
Oh,
legend.
Buffalo Hill. See, he'll know that. Animal based.
Here's the thing then.
I'll tell you the cue, Frank. I'm going to another guess. Some sort of glitter face painting thing.
Ooh, it's in the...
Body art related.
Yes, I'm going to give you that. The tattoo stall.
Ah.
The tattoo store had, you know, those zigzag railings that they have on check-in to
For tattoos?
yeah, for people having tattoos.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean by a zigzag railing? So you don't have a big, long, straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people then think, oh, I'll go and have a tattoo. It feels to me a tattoo needs a bit more planning.
It's too whimsical.
And
Like,
a
you
lot
know,
of
you've
these
had
peop-
3 cans of beer.
Frank, a lot of these people are, let's use an Elvis phrase beloved by him, strung out.
Well, I have to say that, and I'm not just saying this, but the actual mood at because the sort of the voice, it's all like it's heavy metal we're dealing with in the main, and the thing worse is what the heavy metal fan is saying: worship the devil, kill all people and eat them. Open brackets, but not really.
Yeah,
and that's and everybody was so lovely and nice to my child. It was great. If only life could be like that all the time. And they forgave me that I wasn't wearing a band T-shirt. I think the only person who wasn't wearing a T-shirt... In fact, the only person not wearing a T-shirt with El Diablo on the front.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I tell you what, I had a... see what you think about this. Because
Okay.
I thought, can I talk about this on the radio after it happened? And I thought, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm very sensitive. So first of all, the first bit's all right. I got on the tube last night. The tube being the London Underground, for those outside of London. I never like to assume. And when I say I got on it, I got to the barrier where you have to show your ticket, and I got out my over 60s travel card.
yeah.
Which was given to me on my 60th birthday by the establishment.
Yeah. The powers that be.
I don't know who officially hands it out, as you
You're
can
making
tell.
this all sound very Kafka.
Yes, so it says 60 plus London, and it's got a picture of me. I'm waving it about now. And I
Glamorous
got...
laugh.
Pardon?
I sung a bar of the glamorous laugh
Yeah.
by Fergie.
Fame.
So, no, everyone gets
David
this.
Bowie.
Everyone gets it. So I got to the barrier and it wouldn't work.
Oh.
My loyal over 60s travel card. And I looked at it, and for the first time ever, and I must have looked at it 1,000 times, I realised it has on it discount expiry date 12th of February 23.
Were they expecting your demise?
Well, I think in an over 60s travel card, I think I should define the expiry.
Yes. Does that explain that bullet that ricocheted off the wall near you on the 12th of February?
Do they just think, what do you think, he's got a year?
It feels like it should have.
cover him.
You know, the small print thing, things like it should say 12th of February 23 or death, in brackets, whichever comes first.
or next offer.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can renew it, if I've lived too long.
You're back to paying.
I can hear now a council person on the phone say, sorry, mate, you've lived too long.
Not
You're
the
going to
only
have to
one.
go back to paying.
We can send someone round to, put a stop to this.
You know, the living too long thing, we're trying to stamp down on next people
Maybe
taking
it's
advantage.
a gentle hint. So I wonder if everyone gets this. So it's a yearly thing.
No, it's not a yearly thing. I've had it for 6 years, and
They were guessing.
12th of February. How random a date is that?
It would be spooky if we compared it with someone else's and theirs expired after 8 and someone else's 9 and 4.
No, do you know what
They're
I've worked-
guessing.
No, I've worked it out. So it's about 2
Lucy,
weeks.
can you go into the street and stop some pensioners?
It's 2 weeks after your birthday, or so around then. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe they think 1 year it'll just all. They predicted you might be overwhelmed by the celebrations. So
Yeah.
2 weeks after it is a safe bet.
Okay. Well, I'm investigating. I say there are times on this show when I say you have to hear my personal assistant.
Yes.
Is investigating.
Yes.
Because I've really grown to love my over 60s travel card. During lockdown, it burnt a hole in my pocket. The idea that I wasn't using it
Yes.
frustrated me. Anyway, I then got on the train, having paid with my credit card.
Yeah.
After all I've done for this country.
You've got an award from the
Yeah, I'm
monarch.
hoping when I get the MBE, I'll be able to just swipe that in supermarkets and everything. Never have to
Yeah.
pay for anything again. It better have a barcode on the back.
Swinging it round your neck.
Yeah, that would be great. What a
a
gift that would
lanyard.
be.
And a lanyard. With
A
one of those
lanyard.
retractable...
But also, I'd like it to have a slightly sort of civil service aspect to it. So maybe just a nylon string.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like.
No, business-like, I'm happy with that.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I was reading the other day about Oasis that during an Oasis gig, Liam Gallagher would do between 5 and 7 Rubik cubes behind his back while singing.
Really?
You know, he stands with his hands behind his back. And he has a special, little platform stitched into the tailed parka.
Yes, like a little shelf.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's always, my view that you do things best when you're doing something else
Yes.
at the same time. I think that's a very good
He's a
example.
multitasker.
He can't sing in the rain or he drowns.
Yes. Well, that's...
It's got to be a covered stage.
I hadn't thought of that. So I got. I was telling you about the fact that I struggled to get through to the actual platform on the London Underground because I've officially died. So I did get on the tube. It was busy. It was it was tea time, as we'd say back in the Black Country. And
What's that, tea?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's people, and a man got on, and I have to describe this man, and I say this with all tenderness. Facially,
Oh, dear.
he looked like a homeless man, in that he got a very raggedy beard and a black eye, a really big black eye. But he was immaculately dressed in quite fashion, I'd say high fashion clothing.
Right.
And I thought, that's interesting. And he said to me, oh, no, and he's one of these, he had very, very quiet voice, which on the tube,
Useless.
I said, I can't really, he said, and I thought, this is going to be, people were starting to stare. And he reached into he had like a bag, like a designer shop bag. And he reached in and he took out a small parcel and he unwrapped it. It was a slice of cheese. And it had a thing on it which said something like some French word and mature. And it was a lovely... The way it had been wrapped, it was obviously bought...
I hope it didn't say ladies after it.
So it was bought from a... What?
I hope it didn't say ladies
No, it
after
didn't say that. So it had... it looked like it was from a proper posh shop.
Yeah.
And he offered it to me.
Really?
So people by now were staring, and he said, as he himself pointed out, but I could tell by the gesture he was offering it, and so I broke a chunk off.
No.
Yeah. Well, it was still
Are
in
you
it.
absolutely joking?
No. Since I've been in Amsterdam, my cheese intake has gone through the ceiling.
Yeah.
You broke a chunk
Well,
off.
he was clearly offering, even though I couldn't hear him. His gesture was
know
one of
that
giving.
He was offering.
You accepted cheese from a ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
let's be frank.
It was a bit Banquo's ghost. Banquo's haute couture ghost.
Yes.
And I tell you what, I realised as I
playing at?
it was in like posh wrapping. So anyway, I had a chunk of it. It was lovely,
Sure.
and
I wouldn't accept it off a friend.
and then I thought, this guy has got lottery winner written all over him. Homeless man buys lottery ticket, goes to shop, buys like the fanciest, most modern clothes and like state of the art cheese. And but hasn't lost his roots of being indecipherable and having a black eye. Yeah, it was a really strange. And then
you say he looked homeless, but then he was offering you food.
But he was
offering you the cheese.
He was immaculately dressed, and he said another 5 minutes of things I couldn't hear. And in the end, he became exasperated at my non-response and stopped speaking to me. Happily, I'd reached embankment, so that was my stop.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, Frank, as a man who's, you're in with the Royals now.
Yeah, look, I'm not Nicholas Witchell. But yeah, I've had a bit of royal action just
Sure.
lately.
You really have.
You were trusted to get close to the mat.
Yeah.
You're in. I think you're in now, Frank.
Dear.
Yes.
You could be quoted.
I haven't been invited to the concert.
I thought you would be. Well, that's because you call it the concert.
I think now if you said something, you could be quoted as a royal insider in a tabloid article.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
You're the closest I've got to a royal contact.
Okay.
But have you seen, in your capacity as our royal contact, Frank, the official food of the coronation?
Oh, yes. This is, I presume you say it like this, quiche Lorraine. Loreign.
Oh, very good.
That's what it's called in the paper.
Yeah.
Were they not punning? It can't be the official name.
No,
can it?
no, it's a pun. I'm sure it's a pun.
I was going to say they're going old school French language titles now. They're going 1066.
Well, it's called. Is it called Coronation
Coronation quiche.
quiche? Yeah, as in coronation chicken.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things it said in the article I read, it said that the people who designed it, who were like the royal household cooks or
Yeah.
whatever, said that they hope it will become as popular as Coronation chicken.
Right.
Like, not very
It's a very,
popular.
very
It's
low
like-
bar.
It's horrible, Coronation chicken.
Yes.
Does coronation chicken have the raisins in it?
Raisins and curry powder.
It's yellow
thing.
with
Pineapple?
Oh no, I don't think. I think you're thinking of Chicken Maryland.
Oh, no. Either way. So they sort of, we hope that with time people will find the coronation quiche as disgusting.
Again, they should have called that Coronation.
It was
Yeah.
originally called poulet.
Poulet poo. Chicken droppings. No. Wouldn't that be great if one of
sultanas too.
say if Agneta Falkstock had bought a farm and she walked through and somebody said, "What's that on your Wellingtons?" Poulet poo.
It was poulet Lorraine Elizabeth or something.
So
Oh,
anyway,
yeah?
I wasn't happy with quiche Lorraine, so
No.
I thought I'd come up with my own royal quiche. What do you think of this?
Go on.
Quiche to the castle. That's what
Okay.
Sean Connery would call it. I love it. Quiche to the
I
castle.
see that you do.
Yeah, it's much better than quiche Lorraine.
Do you know
Come
what?
on.
I don't dislike it.
Okay.
It's growing on me, quiche to the castle.
Yeah.
It really is, Frank, because I'm seeing the packaging, and you know how a quiche often, not always, but sometimes favours a window, like a sort of washing machine.
Does it?
Yeah, have you not bought a quiche like that? M&S do them like that.
Okay.
There's a little plastic window where you can see what you're getting.
Oh, yeah.
As if the quiche was on a submarine.
Sorry, I thought you meant trellis.
Oh, I
You know when
see.
you get
Oh,
a
no.
pastry trellis?
No, trellis.
No.
No, I'm talking about the visual, the
packaging.
merchandising. Yeah, the packaging.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking there could be some potential there with the quiche to the castle. We can do something with that little window, surely.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Maybe some castellation on the pastry around the edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little portcullis.
Yeah.
Something
you could
like
have
that.
some like red peppers looking over the battlements for intruders.
It's getting quite complicated.
Well, you know, it's a big occasion. Yeah, I mean, the coronation is quite complicated, to be fair. Well, yeah, I think mine's better, anyway, as ever, with puns.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Well, we are talking about the coronation quiche.
Yeah.
Oh, quiche to the castle, do you mean?
Oh, immediate rebrand, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If it ain't, it was broke and it needed fixing. Something I've learned from reading the quiche article that I read was that, and this knocked me flat,
Oh,
that one thing that's disapproved of, an absolute no-no in the quiche world, or would it be a non,
non merci.
is cheese.
Fromage.
You're not allowed to put, if you're a purist, you don't put cheese. I thought cheese was the absolute centre of a quiche.
Well, I mean, there's cheese in the royal quiche.
They love an earth. It's earth-based, isn't it?
It's a sort of radio code from the Second World War. There is cheese in the royal quiche.
What it
I
sounds-
repeat.
Someone with a bowler hat.
It sounds
sitting on a park
like
bench.
it sounds like a really terrible guess on catchphrase.
There's cheese in the royal quiche.
No, it's good, but it's not right.
I can see why
is
you'd
it
say
cheese
that.
in the quiche? Please.
It's a bird in the hand, you fool.
Is it cheesy tart? No, it's not cheesy tart.
And how dare you?
It's good, but it's not right.
Well, in the article about the quiche, there's a bit where they refer to it as the royal vegetarian tart.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Careful.
unnecessary.
Well, they say it's vegetarian. They say it contains broad beans and spinach. And you think, all right. No need to shout. It's vegetarian. We get it.
All right, Highgrove, calm down.
But I read a complaint yesterday that it isn't vegan, and so someone's come up with an alternative vegan.
Because there's
What
cheese
is
in it, I suppose.
Vegan
Cheese and egg.
quiche to the car. Oh, it's all gone wrong. It
No,
doesn't work
I
anymore.
don't know what that one would be called. Bleak Lorraine. So yeah, no, and also it said that we hope people will eat it whilst watching the coronation. What a lovely idea!
I suppose.
I'm
Have a
also,
bit more confidence, we hope.
yeah, I'm also going to eat it whilst watching Lorraine. Shame to only use it once. Wouldn't that be? If you met someone who every morning watched Lorraine eating a quiche Lorraine, wouldn't you have an admiration for that person? I would think, you know what? You are a special human being.
Yeah.
You've gone that far. I particularly like the red pepper with the small musket.
What about, because they also, you've picked up on the broad beans, Frank, and why the hell wouldn't you? They've also created a special royal sausage. Did you read about this?
What? The sausage royal? That's what that should have been called. Sausage royal, obviously. Honestly, I'm in the wrong job.
Do you want to know the ingredients?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one was it Scottish pork?
Yeah. Scottish
pork.
Scottish pork.
What? Do animals have nationalities?
It's
I thought surely they are citizens of the animal kingdom. They're not.
no.
They don't have visas.
They're not constrained by national borders.
Tartan bacon.
Why do you think they call it the animal kingdom? It transcends all national boundaries. I don't want to see pigs being compartmentalised like this.
You don't want to see them being divided by human.
Also,
No.
the idea that
It's just with a knife and fork.
Oh my God.
Sorry, everyone.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.